We are live. Steve, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me. I'm really, really sorry. I've had a bit of a nightmare. So first of all, my camera crashed. I've had to put a new webcam on. So apologies for that. I don't know what's happened to my camera on my Mac. And then I clearly was more incompetent than usual because I sent the wrong link to you, Jay, and to Rob. So thank you for coming on. The others will join in a minute. Here's Rob with a cough. Good evening. So I've done what I've done. I completely made a dog's dinner of it all. And Steve's laughing because he's thinking, it's not just me, is it?
Yeah. Usually me, mate. It's usually me.
And I'm not too sure where Jay is, but he's I'm sure he'll join in a minute because he's been in the chat, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's too busy in the chat.
Yeah. So how are we? Well, I'm just adjusting my kit, so to speak, but probably not a good choice of words. So how are you guys? While I just sort something out.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Yourself?
Mate.
Winning?
What? Here comes Jay.
Hey, what the hell happened there, mate?
I had a problem with the camera, then I had a problem with the link. Other than that, it's seamless.
You've been knocking about with Steve for too long.
I just said Steve's relieved, and behind the scenes, he's chuffed that someone else has messed it up.
Well, I know. Evening, gents. Anyway, evening. You're all right.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm really good.
Evening, Jay.
Anyway, before I go into the chat, there's one thing I would say. Congratulations to Steve.
Yes,
congratulations, man.
1,000 subscribers. Was it yesterday, weren't it, Steve? Or the day before? I can't remember.
Wednesday, I think.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so.
It's brilliant, mate.
It's only took me 4 years.
It doesn't matter how long it takes you. You've managed to achieve something big there. The channel's ace. I love your channel, mate. I've loved it from day one.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's like I said, it's just a milestone, innit? Like you said, was it you, Jay? You said Ross said 90% don't even get to 1,000. 90% of people who set it up don't even get to 1,000. So that's just crazy, innit? You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a big thing for me, really. I know it's only 1,000 subscribers, but to me, it's big. You know what I mean? So something I wanted to achieve. Yeah, so yeah,
you've definitely got one of the best Red Sea 350 tanks.
Oh, absolutely.
In Manchester.
In Steve's street.
On your street.
Yeah. In my street, mate. Yeah, in my street, maybe. Not in my street.
Mate,
maybe.
I'm taking it. It's got to be one of the best. It's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome tank.
Yeah. I mean, it is getting there now. You know what I mean? It's taking time. It's taking its time, but that's what reefing's all about, and it's just about patience and taking your time. You know what I mean? And then you reap the rewards, and don't you? You know what I mean? So
yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
To be fair though, Moggs, the photos don't really do it justice as do the videos. I mean, when I was at Kraken that time, when I dropped into yours and seen it in person, it looks so much better in person than it does in the videos. And that. So it's hard to really get an appreciation for it, but it's stunning, mate. Well done.
I agree. I agree, mate.
I'm drinking to it tonight. 1,000 subs.
I appreciate that.
I don't normally drink on the live, but I drank when Paul got his 1,000 subs, and I'm going to drink tonight, mate.
I'll leave you. I'm going to go and get a beer as well. So let me get beer.
I've got to celebrate.
I appreciate
what is that you're drinking? Hang on a minute. That's not even a beer. That's just a head.
Well, I know you're from Scotland, but this is a Yorkshire beer, mate, from Tadcaster. There you go, look.
Hold up that glass again. So it's 2/3. It's calming down a little bit now, I suppose.
It's just settling, isn't it? It's just settling there. That'll be a lovely little beer, that will, once it's settled. It'd be better than Steve's fruity cider that he has. I don't know what he normally has a fruity cider.
I do use that. I'm working tomorrow, so I can't. I'm in bright and early tomorrow. I'm in at 4:30, so I can't have a drink. I can't really have a drink. Yeah, so it's not the best, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Congratulations, Steve. Sam, I don't drink very often, as you guys know, because I'm diabetic.
I appreciate it.
I'll squeeze a beer out, so to speak. But I think there's congratulations on two things. One, I think if you look at it, when the four of us come together, what was it, almost 2 years ago, we didn't have hardly any subscribers. We hadn't met one another, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So I think to be going on here, and it's, what 2 months away from being 2 years, and all 4 of us have now got 1,000 subs. I think first of all, on that one, I drink to that.
Yeah, cheers. Hey, Ross, get the whiskey on. Where is it?
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
On the shelf.
It's on the shelf.
It's on the shelf.
And then secondly, Steve, to have a tank going for that long like yours has, and to look as top notch as well, one of the best tanks around. And I would say that because it's absolutely full, mixed reef hard, to have it buzzing like it is as well. I mean, that, you know, drink to that as well.
Yeah, cheers.
Hey,
when are we see the end of the stream?
You're gonna make me cry listening to you guys here. I'm gonna start crying in a minute. You know what I mean? Quite emotional.
We take the mate.
Like you said, mate.
I love what you do.
You know what it is with me. It's like I said before on the live before and stuff. It's like when I first got into this reefing journey, it was about like obviously with what I was dealing with and stress and stuff like everyday life like we all go through. You know what I mean? Now, did I realistically think that I'd be really successful? In all honesty, probably not. You know what I mean? I probably thought I was going to get some issues and stuff like, you know what I mean? But like you said, meeting you guys and all that, it spurred me on to, when I see you get 1,000, it spurred me on. I thought, you know what, these can do it, I'm going to do it. And I just kept, because otherwise, in reality, if I did it like, wasn't doing this live streams and I wasn't doing the video and I wasn't doing like, being with you guys, I probably wouldn't have done it. I probably wouldn't have carried on, you know what I mean? Because it's an hard slog, innit? When you work, you come home, you don't want to do a video, and then you got to upload it and stuff like that. It is a bit of a pain in some senses, but even for the viewers and all that though, when they send me messages going, God, when's your next update? Blah blah blah. I love your tank. It just spurs you on, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So I'm going to keep doing it now. I'm going to see where to get, and like I said, hopefully the tank will go even better this year, especially with what's going on. So yeah.
Look forward to it.
And another congratulations is probably in order to Jay for managing to finally pour a pint. So well done, Jay. That's
finally managed to put it all in the glass there, Ross.
That's better now. I'll give you that. That's finally settled.
That is pretty good to say.
It's more foam than Steve Skimmer.
I remember that. I skim thick, mate. I skim thick.
You skim thick? Or do you like a nice dry?
I have a nice sludge where literally I don't clean my skimmer cup out every maybe 3-4 weeks or something like that. A nice thick skim. Yeah.
That must stink in your living room. You must be able to smell that in the living room.
No, seriously, mate. No, you can't. To
be fair,
you have to pay me. You have to pay me a visit, Jay, and you'll be able to smell it. You won't believe it. You won't smell anything.
He blames the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dog stinks more, mate. I tell you, yeah, for sure.
They don't smell, do they? Reef tanks, really? They don't really smell. Mine don't, anyway.
Yeah.
Can't really smell it when you leave a room or come back in. I don't really notice.
I got to say, on the old tank with the skimmer, if I hadn't cleaned it out for a while, it would start to pong a little bit.
Serious? Wow.
Yeah.
No, I've never ever smelled mines before. Never.
I know.
That was the only time.
I thought you would be able to. You don't really smell it.
No, I think if you keep it clean and everything else, but I mean the skimmer does pong a little bit. I think that after a while.
Yeah. Hey. So when you're celebrating then, Steve, you're not celebrating the weekend, or is you working all weekend, or?
No, I'm in tomorrow, and then I'm off. Few days holiday to take because we lose our holidays. You see, if we don't take them, before March. So we can't carry them over. So I think I've got about 4 or 5 days to take. So I went in and seen my manager. So I was off the Tuesday. So I went in and seen if I could have the Monday and the Wednesday off. So I'm off like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, back in Thursday next week. You know what I mean? So got a short week next week, really. So that's nice.
Yeah.
So I'll probably have a few drinks. I will have a few drinks probably tomorrow. To be fair. Plus, it was my missus' 40th. It was my missus' 40th the other week, so I haven't really had time to have off. You know what I mean? With her. So I think we'll maybe go for a I know, go for a meal, mate. She is 40 by age, but she looks about 25.
Good recovery.
Yeah. I'm assuming that behind the camera is Steve's missus standing there ready to leather him if he doesn't say that.
She's got the ironing board ready. She's going to
She's there.
Could you see the shadow of a fist coming over Steve? That's what it is.
She was about to pull the sound on him, and that would have been a disaster.
We watch him telly with him. He always watches telly on a live stream, Ross. Do you know that? He has a TV. Right? Yes, you do, mate. You're so professional.
He did the other week, didn't he?
You remember when we went, I'll show you what I feed my fish, and then he spun his phone. He had the full-on TV on. Just watching.
He had the football on, didn't he?
I have the TV. I have the TV on, but I have it on mute. So
there we go.
Just in case we're not interested enough for you, Steve. That's what it is.
That's not actually class. That's not actually classed as watching TV if it's on mute. So the screen's on.
It's not classed as listening.
It's not classed as watching. You're not paying attention.
No.
Right, let's go.
So
let's go for a couple of comments and then we come back. So I think it's because I started late. So borrowed Steve's laptop. Jay said putting the shopping away. How dare we do that? It was just pure old technical issues. And there we go. I tell you what, I'm going to the Wi-Fi. Since I used the connection, I've got a wire going all the way throughout the whole of the house. So since I have a wired connection and not the Wi-Fi, it's been better, should we say? And then Jay again paying the but there we go. Right. So Ross, what's happening with your tank? Because obviously you're back in the game now. Have you done a water change?
Yep, weekly water changes are back in progress. I'm actually looking after them. Things will be slow to turn back to mint, but I mean, so the Waterbox Peninsula, that's probably 2 years old now, actually.
Wow.
Wow.
And I'll be honest, it pretty much runs itself. I mean, it's effortless. The sand is immaculate. I've got a conch in there that does all the work in that tank. A couple of hermit crabs, a couple of snails, and the tank really looks after itself. I clean the glass every day when I feed the fish. It's a small tank, so it's just a case of quick screw it over with the little flipper cleaner. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Water change every week, feed the fish, and job done. And yeah, it looks after itself, to be honest with you. It's very, very easy. The little Pico tank in the corner is still thriving away. It's doing well. I don't know how, but it's still going well. And the 60.2 is...
So we lost Steve.
Come to watch telly.
There must have been something good come on the TV and he's thought that away.
You mentioned the word water change and he started shaking.
He's gone to get
that's what it is. He's just thought, no putting up with that. This tank here's still got a bit of cyano in it, but it's getting better now. It's not terrible. But yeah, it's doing all right, to be honest with you. But I'm reluctant to do things too quickly, so I'm just going back into weekly water changes, get things under control with that, and then we'll go from there. I still haven't done a test on the tanks because I'm frightened to find out what the water parameters actually are. So I haven't done that yet. I might pluck up the courage and do that this weekend or next weekend. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll try anyway. But yeah, things are going okay. Tanks are still relatively on autopilot, but I'm looking after them. So yeah, we'll just take a wee while to get back on track. But no new additions, no new purchases, nothing at all. Just same old tanks.
But things have changed, haven't they? There used to be that if your nutrients were slightly high, you'd start getting people wagging their fingers at you and stuff like that. But I mean, certainly the way we talk and some of the comments and messages I get, they say, well, you're actually saying about nutrients being high and tanks being, still okay and it's acceptable to have high nutrients, whereas still a lot of people still criticize others for having high nutrients. But as we all say, tank's fairly high and it works.
Yeah, I ran extremely high nutrients in that little tank there for quite a long time, and to be honest with you, did no harm. Now, okay, I don't have SPS and high-end corals and so on, but I mean, the tank didn't suffer for that, and a lot of people panic the moment that it's above 10. I need to sort it out, and that just let it calm down naturally. Don't go two guns in and try and add chemicals and bring it back down. I think the old school mentality with probably which came from the SPS keepers of your numbers must be this. And I've seen it in loads of videos on here as well that if your tank looks healthy, then it probably is healthy. There's no need to worry about that. Okay, you're probably going to have a delay if there's big changes and so on. But I probably shouldn't be promoting a lazy way of reefing, but it seems to be that once your tank settles in now, obviously for a new tank, that's not right. But that tank with him is 2 years old now, and it does look after itself. It's not terrible. It's doing all right. And that was with quite a bit of I say the word neglect. It wasn't neglect. It was just the fact that I wasn't doing my usual weekly water changes and so on, and it just wasn't on top of it quite as what I should have been. But yeah, we'll get back there. It's still doing okay. It's surviving. Everything's alive. Everything's doing well. So yeah, I can't really complain, to be honest with you.
But you took the action, though, didn't you? Because you took, should we say, the more delicate corals. They're in someone else's tank, so you left with the kind of zoas, mushrooms, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're bulletproof, but you can leave your tank on autopilot, and it'll be as right as rain, because you're then down to the softies, and those nutrients can go way, way higher, and they'd still and they love it for you.
Well, to be fair, I've got a hammer and a frog spawn in there that's probably got 5 or 6 heads on each, and they're still doing well as well. So, not quite sure. The Duncan that's in there is massive. It's open wide, so it's not as if nothing's showing any signs. I've got a blasto. I've got a couple of different things in the sandbed that are probably the most delicate of things, but not softy level. So yeah, I mean it's ticking over. It's doing all right, but again, it's a matured tank now, so it's not one that I really need to worry about drastically. Whereas this one, I think if I'd filled that with corals, I'd have been in big trouble.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think with the lack of testing now, have you thought about perhaps an ICP and just get the whole works done as one go? Or
I could do that, Jay, but the reality of it is that the tank's going to be miles out, so an ICP is only going to tell me what I already know, that it's not the levels that I would choose to run the tank at. So I think once I've spent a couple of months doing the weekly water changes and getting things back on top of it again, I'll then probably look at I'll do my own tests, and then once I realise that everything's where I think it is, then I'll probably do an ICP and go from there. But I think, personally, if I've done an ICP just now, I know it's going to tell me that the levels are all over the place. And yeah, I think I'll just do some more water changes, see how I get on for that, use my test kits that I've got, do them, and then probably do an ICP and go from there once I seem to get things back to where I want them and where I think should be on track anyway. So
so the 10% should nudge it back over. I don't know. I'm not too sure how long it take. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks, because then you've got 40% of the water changed. You've got a bit of stability and a routine. I don't know. Not too sure.
Yeah, well, it's one of those that I don't really know, because in theory, when you say that, you're doing 10%, but then the following week you're taking out some of that 10% that you
so it's not a 40%. It might come down to 35. Or there's probably some maths you can work out that does that, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, there'll be something in it, but I'll probably go for a couple of months of just doing the weekly water changes and then see how I get on from that, see what the levels are at, and then panic after that. But yeah, it should be all right. I don't think we'll have a Cobra meeting anytime soon anyway, so I think we should.
I think you're fine, because as you say, the tank's only 2 years, so it can it can cope with that. There we go. The missus has let the Steve back look at his face.
She just turned the Wi-Fi off. What I said.
If you want to report domestic violence, Steve, just let us know.
He's got a bit of a ring underneath his left eye.
I know, yeah. Told you not to say she was 40 years old, mate. Told you that.
You should have
tell you. Apologies there. I thought my laptop was fully charged, but the kids must have been on it. And I've got it on my laptop here, and it just cut off, so I've had to just get the power supply and plug it in. Oh man, what the hell?
I think, like, going back to what you're saying there, Ross, that the hard work gets done in the first 12 months or kind of 14 months, where you are meticulously testing each week. You're doing your water changes. You clean up any issues, and then like same as I think mine's maybe a month older than yours, or maybe 2 months. But now it just runs, like you say, you do your little water change, 10% each week, I top up a bit of bacteria, do a little bit of cleaning of algae, and that's it really. You don't need anything else. It's a nice place to be, and when you're in this place as well, it's like setting up a new tank. It's going to be hard work for the first 12 months. It's exciting, but it's hard work. And also, like they're thinking of like transferring stuff from a really stable tank to somewhere else. I don't like uncertainty, and I don't like change. So
I think that's we spoke about this. We spoke about this before, where we mentioned, people often say that a bigger tank is better for starting out with, because you've got more water to do. There's more forgiving. But I've stuck by it. I technically don't agree with that, because if you have to do weekly water changes every week for the first year, almost a year and a bit of a new hobby, there's no way you're going to keep that up, or very few people keep that up.
Well, I did that on the 450. I did a 40 to 50 litre water change every Sunday morning, and it was a ball's ache. It helped with the sump because I could just took the water straight out of the sump and then pumped it straight back in. So it wasn't difficult, but it was just carting 50 litres of water for the other end of the garden in here, sorting it out. I came through the door. So obviously, I mean, the tank's by the door. So that made it a lot easier. I've got to say, this tank here has been really, other than the kind of the brown algae, which I just ignored. I used a toothbrush on it yesterday. The corals look fantastic. They all look plump. I mean, I've gone for really hardy ones like candy cane, got some zoas, war coral, avatar chalice, a blastos, and they're not difficult corals. But I've got to say the coloration on them, the tank's only been going, 5 months now. I've been surprised how good the colours are on them and how plump they are. They're all hardy because they're all, in fact, every one of them's come from other tanks, and maybe that helps because they're not, they haven't had to travel, they haven't been in different conditions, the Red Sea salt, blah, all from high nutrients and everything else. That could be helpful. But I've deliberately gone for stuff that's really hardy. And I've got to say, I'm tempting fate here. It's been easy. I've put them in. I do a water change maybe every 2 weeks, and they've just done their thing. If I ignore the brown stringy algae, which doesn't affect them at all, and I think Jay, you'd be really bothered by it because I've got stringy stuff that's like 6 inches long, and I just leave it because it'll go in the end. And in a way, I don't care because the corals look good, the fish look good. And that for me is the main thing. It doesn't have to be a work of art. And I'm just doing a video this week and you can see all the stringy and all that. And so what? That's what a tank's really like when it goes through
natural,
the ugly
Paul, isn't it?
stuff.
I mean, when you look at anything in the ocean's not prim and proper. There's algae there, there's stringy bits, there's that is the way that it is in nature. I mean, a lot of us want this perfect white, crystal clear, all the rockwork's immaculate, and that's not the way that it is in the wild. So it's one thing that I think we sometimes get hung up on. The first spot of algae you get, you go, oh, I've got algae. But it's actually quite a healthy sign that your tank's doing well, I think, in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, it's still very sterile because of how young it is. And we've talked about that before. And that's why the algae is winning. But it's winning because it's on the rocks, but it's not affecting the corals. I mean, once it starts affecting your corals, then you think that's when you've got to take some action. Otherwise, it starts killing things and and everything else. I mean, I've used this before and I've forgotten about this. So this is, I'm going to full screen. Now I've used this. It's called Zeobac.
I think you
the angle.
Yeah,
so Zeobac. So it's a German company and it's been going for donkey's years. And I've used this stuff and it's a bacteria. And I've used it on my tanks before. But I've forgotten all about it. So I've started using that. How much is it? It's 10 millilitres, which is not that much. I think it was 13 quid. And for this tank, it's one drip. It will last me ages. And it puts more bacteria into it. So I'm going to start using that just to add some more bacteria into the tank. But I think if I look at this tank, and Jill hates this tank because it's too small. Compare it to the 450, it's a lot easier to manage than the 450 because it's less water changes. If you think about it, the number of corals that go in here, it look completely bare in a 5-foot tank. So if you're starting out, it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot easier. I wouldn't say it's less forgiving than a 450 because I haven't really done much to it. So I haven't really made any mistakes, touch wood, because there's not much you can do. You do a water change and that's it, you get on with it. So I would definitely recommend this tank to someone starting out. For sure. I think you all would for your tanks, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I think having a tank the size of the ones that especially the three of us have got, I know Mogsy, yours is a lot bigger, but for us three, I think the size of the tanks we've got it's one of the ones that, if anything, it teaches you discipline on how to look after the tanks first before you then step up to something bigger. I think that's the kind of key thing, because the bigger one, I do think that, I know you've done it, Paul, but I just think that if I had started out with a tank that size where I was doing 50, 60, 70 litre water changes every week, I would have really struggled to keep that up.
But it wasn't my first tank. I had a 3-foot. I had the 130 litre tank that was an all-in-one for 12 months. And I learned so much on that. And then after 12 months, I upgraded to the 5-foot tank, which was a bit of a baptism of fire because I dragged it all the way down from Derby, full of the 200 litres of water, fish, coral, blah, 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 and the full 9 yards. But I think I would have struggled if I'd not done the 100 litre tank first, because
I think you need that training ground, basically, don't you?
Yeah, I think it helped me anyway. I mean, could I have coped if I'd done a 450? Maybe, I don't know. Because Steve, you started off with 170 litre, didn't you? The Red Sea Reefer 170.
Yeah. Like I said, I totally agree. I think if I would have started on this 350, maybe it might have been a bit too daunting. You know what I mean? The only issue you have is when I started with a 170 was the amount of money that I lost, because resale. I just sold it for that. I basically sold it for less than half the price, and it was 6 months old. So that's the only issue. That's the only problem that you can really see, about it, is like if you are in that mindset of wanting to try it, I will, like you said, there's so many secondhand ones going about now. Buy a secondhand small one, not going to be too much money, and then see where you are. And then if you do like it and you get on with it, then go all out and maybe buy if you want and you got the money, buy a brand new bigger one, like a 350 or a 450, because then you've saved your money on buying a brand new small one. You know what I mean? Like I think I paid 11. I think it was like, because I got it was the deluxe one, so it came with a light. So it was like, I think it was £1,200 or something. You know what I mean? 1,300 quid or something for a 170. I sold it for 600 quid. You know what I mean? So it's like and it was only 6 months old. There wasn't a scratch on it, so it's like, in that sense. But then again, it comes back to like, if I would have bought this 350, that might have been, like Ross said, a little bit too daunting, maybe. You know what I mean? Going on to it, because and plus obviously it's more expensive as well. So maybe I don't know. I probably did go about it the right way, but I did lose money. So it is what it is.
I went small just in case I didn't like it. And actually, my first tank is still in the shed. At some point, I'll set it back up. So it's like now in the shed. It's been in the shed for over 7 years. And then, we was at a fish shop the other day, and Jill saw a planted tank. So she likes the idea of a planted tank, and so we might end up setting that up. God knows where I'll put it. But a 3-foot planted tank. But I'm trying to.
I love planted tanks. See, when you see a proper nice planted tank that's running CO2 and everything.
One day I will do that. Whether I'll do that, because it's got the back chamber, I could put everything in the back chamber, like the heater and everything else, and just use that. And I could potentially put the CO2 into the back chamber, because you see them quite often. And all of the stuff's in the front, isn't it? And it's in the way. You see the heater, you see the filter, and you've got the glass CO2 and everything else. And I think, why don't they have back chambers and it all goes in there? Because if it was a marine, you wouldn't have it on show, would you? It would all be behind the scenes.
I think a lot of them like to have the backgrounds on them, though, Paul, don't they? That's probably something to do with it. A lot of the freshwater tanks seem to have backgrounds on the glass, so that might be
maybe
some of the reason for that. I don't know, but even the freshwater tanks, you get those 3D backgrounds now, don't you? That are all like the kind of foam style ones that's made to look realistic, and they're quite nice actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, I got a couple of questions. So first of all, Black Pearl Reef. How you liking the XHO kit, Jay?
Let me tell you, honestly, I was super impressed. I made a little video about it, actually. Was it about a week? It's about 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And no joke, I was stressing about doing the video and setting it up at the same time, but it took me 15 minutes to do it. And unlike most reefing jobs, when you set them up, you have like issue after issue, and then it doesn't work or it doesn't connect or anything like that. It's just super simple. It looks nice. Basically, Radian came off, screwed it on, put it together again, wired it in, and it's worked. It's on a smart plug. By the time it's come on, and the light just looks unreal. Honest to God, it's just it makes the whole reef brighter. And then your corals, obviously you pay good money for, mate. It just like the colours, you can just see the brightness of the colours.
So is the brown more vibrant now then, Jay?
Yeah, the brown, you can see it down the bottom of the street, because I don't shut these curtains. So you can see it right down there. No, just like, I love corals. I didn't come into the hobby for corals. I came into the hobby for fish. But now it's corals for me. And just, I'm a bit of a junkie when it comes to coral pop. And I know, I quite like the blues. Not all the time. But when I'm sat here on my own and just relaxing, I like the blues, and I just love to see the coloration, all the different colours of your corals, and that's what it does. and I was just surprised that it worked so easy. It doesn't have an app. That made it easier in the sense that it's either on or off.
Yeah.
I think I've got the cheaper ones because some of them are dimmable, which, to be honest, I'd prefer a dimmable one. Then I could dial in the intensity. It's like 6 settings on the dimmable ones, but mine are just on or off. So I've just dialed down the radian. The radian's not basically toasting the corals, but you know what? Now I don't like it when it's not on. So when the radian's on and the Reef Bright's not on, I don't like the look of it as much now.
Oh, really?
On there, yeah. So I was in a bit of a dilemma because I didn't know if to get the Radian G6 upgrade kit, so it looked like Steve's. And to be fair, that G6 that Steve's got, I love how your reef looks, mate. It just looks really, really colourful, and you get some amazing growth. I think all your corals look better, either with the calc and that light, or both of them. I'm not sure which one it is. But that was like £30 cheaper than the upgrade for the G6. And I just thought, let's go with that. Let's see what that's like. And yeah, I'm chuffed to bits with it. It was a gift from my missus for Christmas. And I really like it. I mean, it's a bit overkill having an XR15 and Reef Bright on 20 gallons. I could cook the hell out of this tank now if I really wanted to, but so it looks. I mean, let me just show you. It looks a bit overkill.
Well, we're getting a Jay's Real Reef tank tour. It's been a while since we've had one of these.
Oh, I'll let you have a little shufties. There you go.
We go solo.
So, oops, I'm still plugged in here. Wait up. Right, there you go. So it's the same level. The same level as the Radian, so you don't get any more it just spreads the light in. Yeah. And I used to get a bit of shadowing down the back, but now it's not. So there's no shadowing down the back of the reef.
You know what was good. You know what was good though, really, Jay. Yeah, that it actually pivots. Is that it actually pivots?
Yeah.
The light.
I noticed that the back.
If that back one didn't pivot, the majority of that light would be going into your back chamber. Wouldn't it?
You'd be growing algae in the back, wouldn't you?
You'd be growing algae and everything in that back chamber. You know what I mean? So that's because obviously that's where your water's going in, getting cleaned and filtered and stuff. So, because it pivots and you can direct it, which is good. You know what I mean? Yeah, like that.
That's that glass.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's exactly. It's also the one down here, my micromusa at the bottom on the sandbed. I don't know if you can see it like that. Red, the one behind the Donnies. I don't know if you can see that. That was getting quite shaded down there. But now that Reef Bright's putting a different angle on it, it's actually hitting it a bit better. So
sure.
I'm chuffed to bits with it. I mean, someone said, "Why have I put it like front to back, not side to side?"
Yeah.
And for me, it was just that I had more shade at the back of the tank. But you could put it the other way if you wanted to. And,
exactly.
Yeah, you can do it that way. But I'm just really, really happy.
As long as you're happy with it, mate, and it does something different to your tank, mate. That's the main thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, I'm happy. It gives me the effect that I want. At the moment, I'm running the Radian on a white here, so the Reef Brights are on, but I'm running the Radian on a white just so it's When you film it, like as you guys know, because you do YouTube, when you're filming, you can't just film on blues because it just doesn't really show up, does it?
White is better for getting the proper colours, isn't it? Because as soon as you go blue, it just all goes wishy-washy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But as you can see there, with that filter on it, just goes right blue. But I'm loving it. Absolutely love it. Simple kit. It does what I want. I'm chuffed a bit. It's a nice little upgrade. I've upgraded this Nano, a few little bits, but you don't need to. You really don't need to. As Paul will tell you, the red's like what it comes with.
The light's really good. I mean, I've got it only at a 35% intensity just to kind of deal with the algae, so I haven't really seen what the light can do. But even on 35%, the corals I've got, which are probably they don't need that much light, are responding already. There's only one zoa that's not as green as it should be because it's really low down. And I think if I turn the intensity, that would start popping because it pops in another color in another tank. But I think the Red Sea lights are really good. from what I've seen so far, the shimmer looks good, the quality's good, it's easy to use, the coloration of it's good, the blue's really nice if you're into blues, the white's fine, it's got a really good spectrum on it. So I would definitely recommend that as a light.
Because some people watch my channel and they're like, well, why have you put a doser on it? Why have you put a different ATO on it? Why have you changed your lights? And then I'm like, you don't need to. I think some people think, well, why have you done that? You know what I mean? And for me, I'm planning to be in this hobby for the rest of my life. Like, I want to retire and sit in my armchair with my cup of tea, watching the reef tank, hopefully with the same corals that I had now, but just bigger. So I'm kind of like, I just go back and say to people, I'm trying to like future-proof my tank. I know like the lights will age and stuff, but if I get another tank now, I'd just get another Radian and stick it next to it. If I've already got a doser, so I don't need to buy a doser, you know what I mean? If I get a bigger tank, I'd want a dose anyway. So it's more future-proofing. So I'm not planning to leave the hobby. I want to move my kit onto another tank. That's what I want to do. Yeah. So Back Pearl Reef, mate, thanks for asking. I'm in love with them at the moment. But I'm just, it's like 3-4 weeks just watching the lighting intensity because I haven't got a par meter. So that's a bit of a, don't fit new lights without a par meter, but I ain't got one at the moment.
Or go quite easy. You can take it lower. And then if they go slightly off color, as you bring the lights up, they'll bring the color back. But if you was to overexpose them to light, they can end up killing them and you can't bring them back. So it's better to underexpose for a period of time and then bring it back up. So it's easier. So no, it looks really good. The video is good.
Cheers, mate.
Your video was great, mate. Well, like you said, your corals will tell you. You know what I mean? Your corals they'll either curl up, you know what I mean, or the polyp extension on your SPS won't be out, you know what I mean? And it's a sign of stress. It's like them saying to you, listen, they can't speak to you, can they? It's like them saying, oh, hold on a minute. Yeah, you know what? We're in a bit of trouble here. You need to turn that light down. You know what I mean? That's what he's basically saying.
Yeah,
so that's it. You can always increase it, but you can never decrease it. You know what I mean? There we go.
You always get a little toe when I've had a beer. That is
right. I'm going to go straight right now because someone was asking. Let me find it about the calc. Let me get that up from Chris. Hi, Chris. So you talk us about what you're dosing and how much beyond Kalkwasser. So obviously you got the Kalkwasser. We know that's kicking in. But what's happening to the Aquaforest and the other stuff? Because you was dosing gallons, weren't you, of alk?
Yeah. I was, mate. Yes. So, Chris, basically, what it is, it's been running now for a little 4 weeks now, a little over 4 weeks. It's been on the calc, so not too long, but it's enough that I've actually. I thought I'd be able to dial it in a bit quicker than what I have. You know what I mean? But obviously, with the solutions that I'm dosing, it was like I was testing every hour on the KH keeper, basically to see if it went up or whether I was dosing too much. So what I've done is I've dropped it down. So when I've seen like say between 2 and 3, it might have gone up by like 0.2 or something like that. What I've done is I've reduced the dosing for that hour. You know what I mean? And that's how I went about it. You see, so now I've got it dialed into where my tank will be. It'll never go above like 0.5 DKH in one day. Yeah, from midnight all the way through to the midnight. Yeah, it won't go up. And I've got it dialed in now. It's at that sweet spot where it is. So Kalkwasser wise, I'm dosing 2 liters of the stuff into my tank. Yeah, my evaporation in my tank is around 4 liters a day. A day. So that's basically I'm dosing half of what my evaporation rate is in the tank. Obviously, the rest of it is going in via the Aquaforest stuff and the RO top up as well. Yeah. So I've reduced now. My Aquaforest has gone down from 350 ml of each component. It's now down at 190. It's at 190 ml now. I'm dosing of the Aquaforest stuff. So a massive difference. Yeah, massive difference now. So whereas I was topping it up every 14 days. Mixing the batch up, it's now more like a month. You know what I mean? So it's a big difference, as well as saving, like you said, Jay. Well, I think the biggest thing I've seen with it, by a long shot, is my pH. My pH has gone through the roof. Now I've spoken to UK Reefer. He's been doing it a long time, and he was saying to me about the pH.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was saying, and I've been back and forth with him. For, well, at least a month and a half, 2 months or so. And like I said, he's been doing it. So he transitioned into that, you know, from like what I was doing straight into that. So it's the perfect guy to speak to, you know, in that sense. And he was saying, like, your readings are like 8.3, 8.4 on that pH probe of the KH keeper. And on my Apex one, it's saying 8.2, 8.3 and stuff like that. But I think I need a new Apex probe, a new Apex pH probe anyway. But he was saying he's worked out that you need to put on another 0.1 of that. So he's saying, like, if it's saying 8.3, it's more like 8.4. Do you know what I mean? So if that's the case, mine's around 8.5, my pH, which is a bit too high in all honesty. You know what I mean? I wanted to sit about 8.35 the most, really, 8.4, no more than 8.4. But yeah, other than that, my pH doesn't drop below 8.2 now. Or at any time, even when we're all in the room, it never drops below 8.2. It's always saying 8.2, 8.4. So that, for me, and the biggest change in this tank, for sure. And now I'm seeing a lot more like white tips, you know, on all the SPS, a hell of a lot more white tips growing out. You know what I mean? You can only really see it when the lights are off. You know what I mean? When you zoom in, you can see all the white tips everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Rather than having the lights on. So yeah, it's really good.
It's a great feeling when you see that on the SPS, because when you first see it, you think, why has he got white tips? So they're burnt, and then you realise it's a sign of growth. And when you see that across your SPS, you think that is bang on, and you kind of your chest goes out, and you think, that's really good.
For sure. I mean, the big thing is like that PC rainbow that I had. You know what I mean? The PC rainbow that I had, and stuff like that. That was like, obviously, as you all know, my alkalinity went stupid. Then it went through the roof. It went to like 12, and I was like, oh my God, what the hell? And that PC rainbow was the one that started to strip. So it stripped apart around the back of it, It stripped on a couple of new nubs that it was growing. And I thought, this is a goner, you know what I mean? This is dead. So I moved it back into the original place where it was. And I swear to God, now if you see it up close and personal now, it's night and day, mate. It's like all the colours come back on it. Colors have extended on it. It's crazy, mate. It's like, I don't know. It's a miracle in a sense on how that it survived. In all honesty, I don't know. But yeah, it's growing, and there's more white tips, more white nubs growing out of it now, all within 4 weeks. You know what I mean?
What are you saying there?
I didn't think it'd react that quick. You know what I mean? But it has 100%, mate.
What are you saying there? White nubs.
Yeah, white nubs, like white tips, all coming out of it. Yeah.
So it's beginning to branch out, I think.
Yeah, beginning to branch out. Yeah, some of you might not. You might not see that on your SPS.
I see no nubs.
Maybe.
It's like a twig, isn't it, from the garden?
I don't even know what a nub.
The white nubs off it's white all the way down is the problem.
Yeah. There's no nubs. I don't even know what a nub is.
Nub.
One day, mate. One day you'll get it.
Could change it. Let's not go there.
Oh dear! And then you have a follow-up question here, Steve, from moving on quickly before Jay takes us furthest down.
All right, get you banned off YouTube.
Finale. Yeah, exactly.
Look at that, half a beer and he's already away.
I know. What are you doing about the other trace elements? You better mix that with water, Jay.
Well, what do you call it? I started dosing that reef flowers. Remember I showed you? I showed it you. Then did I show it? I showed it you. Then was it last week or the week before? The reef flowers trace elements. And it's like basically you dose it once a week, according to the bottle. Yeah, dose it once a week. So I do it every Sunday now. Yeah, religiously. 6 ml. And I just tip it into the tank. And that's all I add into the tank. I don't add anything else other than the manganese which I put in every 2 days. I put that in, and what else? Oh, and the iodine, put that in every 2 days along with the manganese. They're the only 3 things that I put in. I don't put anything else in now.
You're not got a machine.
So yeah, that's it.
You've not got a machine to do that now.
Right?
You've not got a machine to put those bits in for you.
He's got no room for another machine.
He's got a machine for everything.
I'm gonna have to start drilling more holes on my wall. My missus is gonna start killing me, mate. You know what I mean? So
you need to start copying power off your mates as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So overall, I don't really want to jinx myself, and I don't want to like say, you know, like everything's going swimmingly well, perfect. But you know, it is, it is. But
you know, that's just a period of time that,
as you all know,
before the storm.
As you all know, as you all know, you know what, things come good and bad in this hobby, don't they? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've probably jinxed myself, you know what I mean? But so far, so good, mate. It's all going really, really well, to be fair. And there's all I'm doing now is just waiting to see what happens. 6 months, so I'm going to do a 6-month review on this calc. And I've took photos of when I started, and I'm going to take photos of when it's at 6 months, bang on the day 6 months come. And then I'm going to be able to see the difference in you know, in whether it has grown anything, or whether it's not, you know what I mean? Whether there's been more colour on it, or whether it's not, you know what I mean? I would tend to err on the side that I'm going to see a big difference. I'm going to see a lot of growth, I think, in it, in my own opinion. But we'll see. Only 6 months, another 5 months to go, and then we'll see.
What would you prefer, growth or colour?
Colour.
Yes,
colour.
Every time. Colour. Every time.
By a mile, mate. I prefer
the stage your tank is at. You don't really want those SPSs growing too much, do you? Because you're going to get those colour warfare. Exactly.
I mean, I was snapping. I swear to God, I must have snapped maybe 15 pieces of that Ceratopia. And I've just snapped them. I threw in the bin. I've not even threw them in the graveyard. The graveyard's getting a bit too big.
It's overcrowded
now, that graveyard. Yeah, it's getting overcrowded, mate. So now I've actually thrown them in the bin because, I mean, somebody did mention to me, why don't you get you know, like I said, they mentioned it last week, didn't they? And they messaged me saying, why don't you get a frag tank?
170. You could have got 170 and put them all in there.
Mate,
you should have put it in your shed. Yeah.
Yeah. Or put it in your heated garage with air.
Here we go. I wondered how long you've done very well. We're just before the hour mark, and we're talking about my garage. Yeah.
Can you show that picture? Show that picture that you took upon his garage. Go on, get it out now. I want to see it. Go on.
That's going to be a thumbnail in a couple of videos' time.
Are you doing it? Are you gonna use it as a thumbnail, Paul?
I might do it. Yeah, I will do a video of the garage. And
I think people want to see.
If you do it as a thumbnail, I won't show it then.
You can show it because it'll make no difference. Yeah, I
will. We want to see Paul in his garage.
I'm going to do a tour of the garage at some point in the future.
Oh, where is it now? Let me find it.
There it is.
I'll find it. It's on the picture, isn't it?
If it's on the WhatsApp group, you'll have to go back quite a few messages.
I know. That's what I'm on. I'm on it.
Whilst you're finding that, there's a couple of things here. So about the Cult Wasser is cheap, but will the manufacturer put the price up as it becomes more popular? That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing the information. Right, let's go on to Solo.
It's so blurry, so you're only getting Pog's face.
It's blurred it out because you've got the secrecy thing on.
Turn the background blur thing off.
Yeah, you have.
1 minute.
You can see it. Yeah,
That's
not the garage, by the way.
That's your garage.
I wish it was that big.
Here we've got his 350. Here we've got his 170 in there. We've got his shaggy rug. We've got shaggy rug there.
Do you know what? I'm gonna have to get a shaggy rug for the garage, aren't I now?
And don't forget the roller door that's there as well that the butler's just opened for him.
The roller door.
The roller doors
over this side,
as opposed to the up and over.
Yeah.
Love my garage. Love my garage.
Dear.
Yeah. So that's his garage, guys. That's his garage.
Thank you for that. It's not, but there we go. Right. Okay. So I'm going to go back up to a question that was asked quite a while ago. So, idea for new. This hasn't been done before. What's on the shelf? So over to you, Ross. What have you got on the shelf for us today? Putting you on the spot.
Let's see what random thing I could find from the shelf. Here's one for you. And then you'll be amazed that I've actually still got these.
And this is not pre-planned in any way.
I know what this says. Oh, no, I don't.
Sweet.
Crack and rock.
Yeah. Kraken sweets. They
are. Bag of Kraken sweets still there.
Yes.
Now, to be fair, that bag was almost full, so there's some left. But there you go. They're on the shelf.
God. There we go.
And maybe I'm trying to find something that will be quite unusual that's on the shelf. What would be unusual?
Yeah.
This is to replace the tip of the week. So
no, we'll come on to that later on.
No.
There's an unusual one for on the shelf.
What's that? It's Reefing.
Oh, that's
got whiskey in it.
That's nice. Oh, wait up.
Hey up.
That's a nice one.
It is. What whiskey's that then?
Has it got a special whiskey in it? That's what we want to know.
It has got a special whiskey in it. That is
very good.
What's in there? Cask strength Glenfarclas is in that one, I believe.
Has he got some good whiskey like the Japanese or?
I've never tried Japanese whiskey at all, mate, to be honest with you. And for somebody who I drink whiskey all the time.
He's winding you up because we know what you think about other whiskey. We've got to talk about American whiskey. You go mad.
I like American whiskey.
I don't go mad. American whiskey's not whiskey, but Japanese stuff is meant to be pretty good, to be fair.
Hibiki,
I've never ever tried it.
Yeah, Hibiki's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just
want
one
my final what's on the shelf moment. Here's one.
Don't use them all this week. You need some for next.
Mate, have you seen my shelf? There's like 500 things on it.
I have seen the shelf, yeah.
Have you seen his shelf?
When I was up in Scotland last year, I saw the shelf and the tank.
I've not seen the shelf. Have you seen his shelf, Steve?
No.
This is a random one, right? And I've no idea why it's on the shelf, but it is on the shelf. And it's this bad boy, which is a water to go bottle.
It's got a map on that. I like that.
Yeah, it has.
Jay likes a map.
Yes. Believe it or not, and this is not a plug of any shape, form, or size or whatever, that there is what I take to the fishing with me. And with this bottle, what you do is you just scoop the water out a river, a stream, the loch, whatever, and it's got this big filter inside it, and it filters all the contaminants out, and you drink straight out of the bottle.
Oh, mate. No. I don't think I'd do that.
No, hear me out on this one. This is not to do with reefing, so I don't know why I'm doing this, but anyway, we're going for it. So, with this one, what you can actually, it was designed for like Africa and places like that where you can drink out of puddles and malaria and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But what you can do with this is you can actually take a can of cola, put it into that, and pour it out, and all you get is the water out of the cola. There's absolutely nothing comes out at all apart from water. Now, I've drunk water from all over the place through this bottle. I'm still here today.
Ross.
So there you go.
Still here today, right? I have got the ultimate challenge for you now. You've got that bottle. I would like to taste some water from a very special place. Not been changed for quite a while. You've got to do it.
I know what's coming.
You've got to do it on this stream. So post that bottle down to Steve's house. He's going to fill it up for you.
So unfortunately, Jay,
I tell you what. That water's as clean as anything, mate. I tell you what.
Thank God you're taking some of it out for us. We're struggling here.
I tell you, hey, hold on a minute. My fish are alive, mate. The corals are alive. So what does that say? That says that the water's
look like them chromas look like they've been in Chernobyl, to be fair.
Well, the chromas might.
Accept the challenge, Ross. Accept the challenge or not?
Can't, mate. It doesn't work on salt water. It only works on fresh water. So you're on.
Here we go.
If you get me a Ming freshwater source, I will definitely do it.
To be fair, you came up with that excuse really well. I respect that.
Yeah, that's true.
So there we go, Ian. Hopefully the what's on the shelf this week has been a success.
Yeah. We'll make it a weekly feature, and I'll go with just one item a week.
Yeah, I'm well impressed with that water bottle, mate. I've never seen anything like that before in the life.
Yeah, honestly,
I'm well impressed.
I know it's a really random one, but go on the website. So it's watertogo.eu.
Send us the link. Send us the links.
I'm gonna look it. I'm gonna just look at them.
Right.
So you know that bottle then Ross, yeah. If there's any impurities in your normal tap water, say for instance,
you can use this.
would it take it out? Yeah. So basically, does it turn it into like RO water?
I think
that what it does?
Steve,
but you know what I'm saying? No, you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, it's like if it takes any impurities, so like whatever's in our tap water, which they all say is there's junk in tap water, isn't there? You know what I mean? Yeah. Would it if it filters it? It's just like RO then, isn't it? It's filtered and it's like an RO water then, isn't it? I'm assuming.
I don't know because it's not going through a reverse osmosis membrane, but it would take all the bacteria, all the nasties, anything out of that whatsoever that you could then you just got fresh water after that. There's nothing in it at all. It takes any diseases, anything at all out of the water. So there is actually videos of guys that will fill the bottle up by means of natural ways, shall we call it? And then you can drink that, and it's perfectly fine as well. The only thing I'll say with that is obviously once you've done that, the filter's then gone, so you've got to throw the filter away. But if you're using it on normal, like I take it fishing with me for a weekend, so I don't have to carry bottles of water. I can go away with that, and I can drink water straight out the river or the loch or wherever I am, and it's brilliant. So
the only
sorry I sidetracked that one, but that's
but the locks are probably quite clean. I wouldn't fancy doing that for, say, the Thames. I imagine the water at the Thames is slightly different to a lock.
But it's designed for like the basically mud holes in Africa and places like that where there is no water. That's what it's designed for.
Blackpool, Steve. Blackpool, Steve.
Saltwater, mate. Saltwater, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
The only side effect is it makes you bald, but you'll be all right, Steve.
Yeah, supposedly it turns your head upside down, but I've never ever seen that.
You never noticed.
That, to be fair.
I'm buying a case full of them then. That'll be perfect.
In all seriousness, it's a brilliant bit of technology for those people that need it. I've seen
hill walking or anything like that where you're away, where it's just a kind of similar thing to Life Straw, but it's just a bottle.
It's better than straw.
Yeah, because the Life Straw you have to have either the bottle of the water that you carry about with you, whereas that you can just go fill it up, drink it, and away you go again, and it's good. So I rate it. I mean, it's nothing to do with reefing, and we have massively digressed away from that. But
you've planned my geography lesson for next week now. Thanks.
He's going to get a bottle and take it into class. But are you brave enough to take the class out and make the worst pupil drink it?
And if it's year 9, we'll all pee in it and we'll see if it works.
Right. On that note, I think we'll move on.
That's a joke, by the way. But yeah, it's a brilliant thing. I'm going to build it into my lessons for sure when we do water management.
That is excellent.
Yeah. Thanks,
right.
Ross.
We have Irish guy who's new to the stream, so welcome.
Hey.
Any chance you can describe your tank specs in less than 10 words? I don't think it's going to be less than 10 words. So who should we start with? We'll start with Steve. Go on, Steve.
No. Don't start with me. No way.
Well, you've done your 10 words already. You haven't even described anything.
Describe my tanking specs. No, never. Couldn't do it.
Right.
I couldn't do it. No, I couldn't do that.
Okay.
I'll go. I think I can do it.
Go on then.
Standard water box with AI Prime.
There you go.
Standard water box with AI Prime. Yes, 6. Well done. 6. No, well done, mate.
Is it?
Thanks.
So Red Sea Max Nano.
Is it? Jay's counting on his fingers there.
Stock kit. Oh, Jay, put that away.
I go over 10, I have to get the shoes off.
People be having their supper.
Sorry, guys.
I'm glad you said shoes there.
So, what's mine is Max Nano. Wait up.
You know that Jay's going Max Nano.
Red Sea Max Nano
mix
with Radiant.
20-gallon Radiant. That's it. About it, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
5 fish. Corals.
Oh, nice, mate. That was a good one.
Was that 10, was it?
That's 10.
He held up how many fingers he's got, and unless he's missing some or got extra, then I think we're on 10.
You think?
I think that was 10, but in Yorkshire it could be a bit dodgy. Small gene pool.
Right, go on, Steve. Go on, have your attempt at 10.
Red Sea mixed reef.
That's 4.
With everything on it. Oh, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
It's like that alphabet. Have you seen the alphabet game where you have to have a letter and then you have to think of something that matches? It's like that. It's hard to think.
I'm no good with those sort of games, mate. I'm no good. No.
Mental agility, isn't it? It's hard when you're on the spot like this.
It's hard when you're on the spot.
Let's see, though. Why don't we open it up to people in the chat to see if they can come up with any better ones for their drinks? That's probably a good idea.
Put in the chat 10 words.
So Steve, you can have a think about it, Steve, and put it in the chat. 10 words.
Yeah, I will.
That's
I will
cheating.
do. Yeah.
You've got an hour to sort it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll figure
Anyway,
it out.
Speaking of that, I'm gonna hijack this a little bit again, Paul. But speaking of that, I got put on the spot to do the what's on the shelf. So let's do the Jay's tip of the week.
No, I aren't ready for that one, though, am I? I'm not ready for that
Come
one.
on, mate. Come
on. Come on, Ross. Oh, God. What can I say this week? I've done it for about a year onto the tip of the week. Can you come back to me? Let me have a think. Because
we can come back to you. That's fair. We'll come back.
Give me a bit of thinking time, guys.
I'm thinking, yeah.
There we go.
He's thinking 10 words.
Reefs summed us all up in his post.
I think everybody who's watching this is feeling very intelligent watching us struggle with these things.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. There's Black Pearl Reefs nailed it.
Jay's is brown. That's true. Steve is automated. Ross, 2 words.
You know,
Crab prison,
I was actually trying to figure out. Yeah. Automated.
That's a good summary, to be fair. That is.
Can't argue with that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't argue. What was our tip of the week?
You need to get thinking on that one, Jay.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to go back to have some of the comments because I'm way.
I need to feed the fish first, so I'm going to think about that for a minute.
It's a late meal tonight, is it not, Jay?
What's that? Yeah, it's a late feed.
A late meal tonight.
Yeah, it's Friday night. It's normally kebab and chips, but I'm going to give them some lobster eggs.
Oh, on the posh stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I like lobster eggs because it's like it feeds the corals just as much as it feeds the fish. So.
True. When you had your nem, and Steve, when you had your nem, did you feed it at all with any pellets or anything else like that, or just?
I fed it with the the fish food that I have. The meaty foods. I used to just get the turkey basted and then blast it into its mouth, and then it just curled up and and it was perfect. Yeah, but I must admit I did always feed that nem. To be fair, you know what I mean, especially with the meaty foods. Pellets, I never really fed it with that. Yeah, the one thing I do target feed with pellets though is my bubble coral. My bubble.
Yeah,
I do target feed that with pellets.
I think that needs feeding,
with that.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
And the scully as well. I target that eats pellets as well, the scullies. So yeah, they're the only 3 really that I actually target feed. The rest, I just tip it in. You know what I mean?
What I do with the scully, sometimes in the morning when the lights are out, you'll see all the tentacles are out, and it's feeding. Yeah. So I might put some Red Sea AB Plus in. Because if its tentacles are out, it's looking to feed from the water column and stuff like that, and that seems to then inflate it. So that works. I mean, it doesn't inflate every day, but if I see it, I just put some of that stuff in, and that seems to do the trick. And that one that I got was the rescue one. My God, the way that's grown out now, and how it's inflating and it's feeding throughout the night and stuff like that. I'm really chuffed with how that one's turned out. Yeah. But yeah. Right, some other comments. I started with planting tanks. This goes back to the other one. So Black Pearl Reef, doing CO2 injection, whole 9 yards. You use a canister filter.
What is that? I don't really know what that is. CO2 injection. I don't know.
So it helps to feed.
This is going to blow your mind, Jay.
Yeah, go on, Ross, use it. I never used. I know what it is, but I've never used it.
Can you give me a definition of what CO2 injection?
I'm not an expert on it, but I'm just meaning if Jay goes down this rabbit hole, it's going to blow his mind because he'll be lost for weeks. And he'll be setting up a CO2 planted tank and so on.
Oh, does it only work with fresh water? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, you do CO2 injection. So yeah, you put CO2 into the water, and it feeds the plant. So there's some plant, not so much the easier ones, but the moderate and the harder ones. They need really good light, but also CO2 injection will help. Whereas the easier ones, if you do use it, it does help, but you don't need them. I think that's the best way of putting it. I don't know. I'm not an expert on it. I only know from seeing 2 or 3 YouTube videos, and that's about it. So I've got no more detail other than that. I watch people like George Farmer, stuff like that. He's a really good guy who does that. Right, let's see what else we have got. There's one there about getting a second-hand Senai, Jay, maybe?
Yeah, could do. How much are they? What would that be around?
I think a new one's about £100, is it not? So you'd probably pick one up for half that, I would say.
He's got one. I'm hoping that he'll bring his bus over here and drop it off.
I've got one, mate. You know what? You can borrow it. I'll pay a visit over to your house.
I'll put the kettle on for you, mate.
Absolutely, mate. Nice cup of tea. Perfect.
I think my pistol shrimp's out with the goby.
Oh, there we go. We're back in to see.
You said a few drinks tonight. That's because we're well on it.
I don't know if he's out just yet, look, but he's down here. Look.
You know what? Talking about the pistol shrimp, yeah. I thought mine was brown bread. I've not seen it for literally. It's got to be what 6 months, 5 months.
They hide for weeks, don't they?
My missus said, "Oh, there's that little lobster thing going. What do you mean lobster thing?" Looked at it. It was the shrimp is still alive right in the middle of the rock. I thought it was well and truly toast, mate. It's still alive in my tank. Couldn't believe it.
It's funny.
Never comes out during the day. Never comes out during the day. Always at night time. I believe. Well, it must do.
Look at these.
I've never seen it during the day.
Idiots! I hate these lot. These hermit crabs here. Look, trying to attack a snail. Absolute. They're like teenage thugs on the streets. These lot here.
Jay, like we said to you before, have you actually fed them yet?
Yes, I fed them loads.
What about the crab food? You remember Ross was talking about the crab food, weren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, they've mopped up that snail. Get off of it. Leave it alone.
Yeah, so it's, if you get the crab food I was telling you about, Jay, then they won't attack all your snails.
Crab food?
Yeah, we've been through this before, remember?
Yeah, was it on the live stream or was it on the WhatsApp group? I can't remember.
No, it was the live stream.
Was it?
I can't remember, mate. What was? Send me a link.
Do you know what? Wait a minute. Is it on the shelf? Let's come back. Is it on the shelf, Ross? Oh, he's gone.
Ross is gone. Ross is gone.
He's disappeared. There he is.
Look at that. That was like one of those.
You turn around like a Bond film. If you go like that, a Bond film villain, all you need to do that, and you'd be sorted.
What's that label on the back of the chair?
Here we go.
Oh,
Jay, pay attention. Look, there we go.
Crab
cuisine.
Cuisine. All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. I'll get some of that.
So that's what you want to get.
I'll get some.
Feed that to them because that stuff is brilliant.
I'll get some for the next stream, mate. Or the one after, maybe.
And he wants to know what's on the back of the chair, Ross. Is it the label?
Does it say this way round or what?
Oh no, that's one of those stupid labels that you've got to leave on for if you're getting rid of the chair so they can lift it. You know, it's like the fireproof sign thing, I think it is.
You leave all that on your furniture, do you?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because if you don't, then you can't get rid of it.
What? So you buy some to think about selling it?
Oh no, I give it to charity.
I can't. What's going on here?
You fried his brain tonight, Ross. He's gone.
Jay's now going around his house thinking, how am I going to get rid of anything now? It doesn't have this on it. What am I going to do? Sheer panic.
So
he'll be on eBay trying to buy them and staple them onto everything now.
But you can sell it if you can sell it without that label on it.
No, it's illegal.
Is it a Scottish thing?
What's going on here? How many beers have I had? Because I can't get my head around it.
I don't know, but I think it's more than we've seen you have, to be honest with you.
He's disappeared now, hasn't he? He's turned into
sorry, mate.
I think he's lying on the floor. Oh, no, he's not.
I was just looking at the fish feed and it's my favourite time of day.
It's favourite time of day.
Isn't that your favourite time of day with your reef? I love feeding time.
No.
To be fair, Rudro's got a good point on the comments there as well. So it could be that.
I don't think the hermits are attackers now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do want the shell. Yeah,
put some empty shells in. Get some big empty shells and put them in.
Shells in.
Yeah, there's loads of them in Derby, isn't there? Jesus. 3-hour drive.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you know, but there's a little known thing called the internet that you can buy things online. That's probably worth having a look at.
You know what? It'll never take off.
It'll never take off.
I'll send you a link for that as well, Jay. Don't worry, we'll look after you.
So Jay's going around saying, "Anyone got any empty shells?"
You are such a kind-hearted guy, Ross. That's
Believe it or not, I have got a tub on the shelf that's full of hermit crab shells for that very reason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. Well, you'll have to say that one for another week.
I've got one I'll send down to you, mate. It might do the job. I'm not sure if that's
Oh my
big enough
God.
or not, but
That's
I'll send it down to you anyway.
Wow. That's not going to fit in mine. No chance.
You never know.
And there's a description there about CO2, Jay.
Converts into oxygen, man.
I won't read it out. You can read it.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah. You know what? I'll stick to salt water, mate. It's easier than that.
And there you go. You can add fertilize, and then it grows as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I can see how. I see where it's coming from there.
I think planted tanks and stuff like that, I think they're harder than reef tanks, mate. Doing all that sort of business. I think it's a lot more harder setup, I reckon, by going off all that. Getting it all dialed in and all that, mate. Oh, no. I don't know. I don't think I could do that, to be fair. They do look nice.
Yeah, but they're just, it's just green, isn't it? So it's like, I can grow algae better than anything I can.
It's slightly different to that, Jay, but I get the point.
I'm only joking.
What's in that drink?
Just raise nutrients.
I don't know, it's special brew with something else chucked in.
No, it's just
Special
one beer. Just one beer. If we have a night out, it'd be crazy.
Right, come on, comments there. Steve's graveyard could fill another tank.
It could, yeah.
Possible.
And there's a future tank for Jay. And he's got a spare heater. I think he got how many spare heaters have you got, Steve?
Oh, well, I had to put one in there then, so I've got 6 now. 6 more heaters.
Well, you must be getting stressed. What if all 6?
Well, not yet, mate. I do probably need to maybe upgrade that real one, really, the titanium one there. That's been in a year now, hasn't it? So, yeah, it's quite possible that there could be a new one on the horizon. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've just got this weird obsession. Yeah, I don't know what it is, mate. It's not OCD or anything like that, but it's just straight that I have nightmares sometimes of like the heater sticking on and stuff like just these things, mate. I don't. That's the only thing I really have a nightmare over is like the heater sticking on. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I just change it. And get a new one. You know what I mean? Well, for the sake of 40-50 quid, it's just worth it just to get another one.
You need the contingency in case that 6th one breaks. You could do with a 7th.
Yeah. You never know, mate. Like you said.
But haven't you got two now? You've got two now, haven't you? So if one breaks, you've got a backup, so you're all right now. So you don't need to do anything.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, because I've got the second one, which I've got one on that D&D controller. Yeah, that's where the titanium one is on it. Yeah, and then I've got the secondary one, which is linked to my Apex, which is set at a temperature. So if it's set between a certain temperature, I forgot what I said at 78 or whatever to 79 or something, and it'll switch on. You know what I mean? So it goes below 78. Oh, sorry, 70. Sorry, no, tell lie. If it goes below 76.5, it switches on, and if it goes above 79, it switches off. So that's what I've set it at. But it obviously that's off. You know what I mean? Because it's at that right range.
But you've got a backup, so that's good.
I've got a backup. Yeah, but it's still I suppose it's a good thing. But I do like the titanium heaters. I think they're fantastic. You know what I mean? So I'll probably get maybe another one.
I had to get a titanium for that one because the glass ones, as you go up in wattage, they get bigger because I use the glass ones usually.
Yeah.
They don't tend to change much in size, whether it's 150, 200 or 250. So, but yeah.
Well, surely if you put that tank in the garage, you wouldn't need a heater.
Why?
And that garage is a good place to put anything.
It doesn't night because the radiator goes off with the heating. So yeah, you need it overnight, and it hasn't got underfloor heating and everything like that.
Why have you? Can I just ask you a question though? If nobody's living in your garage, why do you have your radiator come on? I don't understand that. What do you have a radiator?
Because if you got the room up to a certain temperature,
but you've got heating in it.
Yeah, you've got heating in it. It's cheaper for your central heating than it is for that. It's one more radiator. That comes off of upstairs. When I do the tour, you'll see there's the pipe work from it that goes up through the floor to the radiator above.
You know what? I can't wait to see this tour, mate. I tell you,
you'll have to put it on Ticketmaster because everybody wants to come and see it.
I always wondered where.
Jay's on
the thing is, I wondered where the name Fish Palace came from, but that's what he calls his garage. That's what it is.
Palace,
the Fish Palace. That's it.
Good call, Ross. Yeah,
very
I
good,
agree.
Ross.
It's not, but it could be.
Could be.
So where does Fish Palace come from then, Paul? What's the reason behind that?
So about 10 years ago, I wanted to start selling dry goods, and I started a limited company. And when I started looking into it, the margin was really poor, and it was difficulty getting supplier as well. So I kept the limited company, and then I started selling things on eBay, completely different, like radiators and drills and all kinds of different things. And it was under Fish Palace Limited. So that's how it started. So that company's been running for quite a few years.
So you was the Del Boy. You was the Del Boy of Essex, then, was you? Yeah,
basically.
Del Boy of Essex.
Yeah,
Del Boy of Essex, mate.
I drove up to Stoke once and bought £10,000 worth of sat navs from Argos. So they had the Argos returns, and they were like, bought 10 grand. I'd stick it in the back of the Zafira, drove back down, and I sold them on eBay.
Wow.
And made a decent amount of money on it. And then Argos started selling their returns on eBay, and that was it. The market was gone. So I took a punt because I'd already been selling some stuff from Screwfix on eBay.
Well, you can sell Ross's chair. He's got his tag still on it.
I know.
Exactly. You sell a chair with tags or without.
Yeah.
Oh dear, where's this going? I really have no idea.
What are we talking about again? Reef tanks.
Well, hopefully, yeah. So that's how Fish Palace started, and it's still running as a company, even though I don't really tend to sell anything. Right.
Nice.
There we go. There we go. Someone's been sensible. Good old Stefan. So So Red Sea. So is Red Sea one or two words? Not. I think it matters anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7 if Red Sea's one word, and 8 if it's not. So it doesn't matter.
The Egyptians think it's 2.
Okay. But it must be 2 then.
No, I'm not saying it is 2. Just...
Oh, is it? Oh, no. So yeah. So Haley thinks it's 2. Stefan thinks it's 1. So Jay, your geography knowledge, was it 1 or 2?
Well, the actual sea is 2 words. It's Red Sea. Yes.
The best bit is, though, surely one of you could just turn around and look at your tank and tell us what it says.
Yeah.
Mine hasn't got a tag on
word.
It.
Says Red Sea, so it's 1 word.
At the top corner, is it not, Paul?
It can't be 1 word when it's got 2 capital letters, Steve. I don't know what you've been doing.
Oh, yeah, it is. You're right, Ross. It is at the top. I didn't see it there.
I can see it for you. That's what I thought. There's
capital letters in the middle of a word.
Very good point.
It's 2 words. It's 2 words.
2 words, okay.
Yeah, very good point.
I think so.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Very good point, that Jay. Yeah. Hey, you're not that drunk, mate. That's a very good point, that.
So is that his tip of the day? If you have 2
that's
words,
his tip of the day. Red Sea. Yeah.
Red Sea,
yeah, that's the tip of the day. That. Yeah.
Stop teaching at 3 o'clock. It just carries on, you know. People say I'm lazy.
Who says that, Jake? I believe that.
There's 3 people in front of me now that say all the time that I don't do enough work, and say I'm just.
It's the truth.
Yeah, we don't call you lazy. We don't call you lazy. We say you don't do enough work because you're saying how hard you work.
I do.
Anyway,
everybody I bump into, you're a proper grafter. You are. You know.
Yeah.
I've even got calluses on my hands because I work that hard.
Right. Okay. Anyway, Haley's done it within 10 words. So that works well. For Mogsy, I've got 2,000 subs, so I'm not playing word games.
Who said that?
Joanne, nice one.
Good.
And then we got lobster eggs for the win, Jay. Maybe that's the tip of the day.
That is the tip. Yeah, Haley, thanks. That's the tip of the day, guys. Lobster eggs, fine little food, high protein. Everybody loves it. You just seen all of them eating it. Even apart from the what they called hermit crabs. Apart from the hermit crabs, they're not eating it. They're eating the snails.
Sure.
There you go. Get some lobster. They're not cheap, but they're good.
So Jay, where'd you get them from? Because Howard can't find them for love or money.
Love.
You get them from Reef Nutrition. Reef Nutrition.
I got these from
a
shop.
Oh, you might be able to.
I got them from Kraken when I went to Kraken thingy. Kraken. Crackner. When we went to Crackner,
the Crackner.
Is
Is it frozen, Jay, or is it out of the bottle?
Frozen. Yeah, I prefer fresh, but I don't know. I've never seen anybody do fresh. But they are my favourite, like, kind of broadcast feed because the corals go mad from as well.
There you go, Jay. So you could get another tank, set it up, and do Jay's real lobster eggs, and become a millionaire from selling lobster eggs.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, you know that when you recommended that guy, what's he called now? Fish Locker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he pulls up the lobster catchers all the time and shows you them. I'm addicted to watching that channel since you recommended it, Ross.
It's good.
Brilliant, isn't it?
It must be over 100 lobster nets since I've watched that. Cages, whatever. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I love watching this channel.
It's ace.
Absolutely. There we go. Mogsy's described his tank in less than 10 words.
And no water changes.
Nice.
Yeah. Red Sea's 2 words there. We've gone through that.
Capitals.
Reef.
Were you not listening, Stephen? I attention.
I think I did that about 12 minutes ago. That was before we spoke about it. So that's my. If you look back, I think it was 12 minutes ago. I put live. Before it, so that's
only 12 minutes. That's pretty good for me.
Exactly. You know what? Reef Nutrition do oyster feast in liquid form.
Do they?
Stefan just said that EAC or H2O do them.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're brilliant food. Really good.
Some have never tried that. Never tried them, to be fair. Never tried oysters. No, I haven't tried them.
You don't have them at Morrison, one of the fishmongers, does that? That's the problem. He gets all his food from... No, seriously, though. You go to Morrison's, the street at Morrison's, the fishmongers.
Yeah, well, sometimes I go there, or sometimes I go to Berry Market, go to the actual fish market, and just get them from there. They know me now. So I have got a video in the making. Actually, I have got a video in the making of doing it myself. I want to do a good production, so I might have to get my missus to film it. You know what I mean? So it's got to be on a good side, with it. But I've got some of the stuff, so all I've got to do is just like
you know how to treat it, right? I want you to film me going down there.
Yeah.
So has anybody else made their own fish food before?
I haven't, but Steve's the expert.
I love it, mate.
Yeah, but is it something that a lot of people do or not really?
I don't know. I did see. I can't remember who I watched them. I watched a YouTube video of a fellow reefer, and I can't remember for the love of money who it was who I watched. I watched it a long time ago, and I remember thinking, you know what, I'm going to try that. And I never just did. I just didn't, because it's easier, cheaper to just buy the blister packs in it. And then when you research it and you think to yourself, like, what water did he put in? What water did he put in those, those blister packs? Like, it could be anything. It could be tap water, mate. You just don't know. Do you know what I mean? I know we drain it off and stuff like that, in your sieve and stuff. But yeah, so I thought to myself, well, if I know what I'm putting in it, then it's going to be perfect. What's Jay got? A bag of sweets?
I say, what?
He's got the munchies now. He's had too many.
He's got the munchies.
He's got the munchies. If you get a kebab, if you order a kebab on Just Eat in a minute.
Jesus.
Oh, he's robbed his kids' sweets. You don't rob your kids' sweets. Hey?
Yeah, right.
It's a bit of a confession, because I absolutely love pick and mix. Like, really love it.
Oh, mate. You know what?
I went to the NEC Arena this week and I bought some pick and mix.
Yeah. I've got to admit, mate. My favourite are Haribos. Absolutely love Haribos. I don't eat many sweets, but they are ones that I do.
I don't do anything else bad, really. I just eat sweets.
Well, there we go. Right, we've got a comment from John here. So he's found a new LFS that's within 35 miles. I remember, John, you were saying about the local had closed and it was quite a way away, wasn't it? So it opened in June. Only found it yesterday. Amazing shop. Such a variety. And he bought a torch for £44.
Yeah. Now, we chatted about this, didn't we, Paul, about torch prices at the moment when we met up, didn't we?
Yeah, so we was at Signature Frags, wasn't it? Me, you and Ian last Saturday. Got to say, Signature Frags, fantastic place. I know Jay goes on about it, but seeing it in the flesh, it is a really good LFS. I've got to say, in terms of the quality of the stock, the range of the stock, I thought the prices were really good as well. I'd class it as a boutique for corals, really, because you can't. It doesn't really.
It's not a shop, is it?
Fish and dry goods. It is really about you book an appointment. It's a boutique, I think, and you go in there and you talk about corals. So we was in there for about 3 hours, having a gas with us, and it was really good. But yeah, we was talking about torches, about how the prices come down. And the next day, I was actually in AAC, and the prices of the torches in there was like 45 quid per head, which I thought was really good, and gold torches for 90 odd pounds. So actually, I've seen people selling torches on Band and other places, so out of hobbyist tanks that are more expensive than LFS. So I think LFS prices are coming down, whereas hobbyists are trying to sell for more expensive.
Do you think that's because of the supply and demand, or do you think that LFSs are bringing the prices down to try and stay in the business?
It could be a bit of both, because the prices are coming down. If you have a look, you could get, what was it, gold torch, maybe 150 quid for one head. You can get them for 2 heads that are maybe 120.
Yeah, okay.
Or even sometimes you see them a bit more expensive. So I think definitely there's a supply out there. I think they're bringing the prices down to compete. But the supply of torches, everywhere you look, someone's selling a torch, aren't they? Well, it seems to be anyway. Yeah. They're 10 a penny. But I mean, the prices are definitely coming down. So nice one, John.
It's a good, it's definitely a good time to buy corals if you're in the market for them, because you get some really good deals. It's like what Cease said about tanks and things. Some really good second-hand deals at the moment if you're in the market for something.
And I saw a Red Sea Reefer 170. I think it was 100 quid. Someone was selling for. I can't remember what side it was.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know the condition, but 100 quid. And others you've seen, the people got older tanks that, you know, either free of charge or it's going to go to the dump.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of new shops, this is not because I'm not even affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form. Has anybody seen the one called the Reef Experience that's opened up?
No. Whereabouts is that? Is that in Yorkshire?
Have a look on Instagram. It's up that way somewhere. It's called the Reef Experience, and I'll tell you something. See, for the design of the shop, they have absolutely nailed.
Is that the one where they got the coffee table and they got the chairs? Yeah. Yes, I have seen it. I think it was on Instagram or Facebook. I mean,
for the aesthetics of a shop, now I don't know what the quality of the stock and so on is like, or the price or anything, but when you see the shop itself, I thought, wow, that's it. It looks like almost like a kind of sea life centre type place that you would go and visit, but an upmarket version of that, if that makes sense. And it looks very, very impressive. But again, I haven't been, I don't know anything about it. So
I saw the pictures as well of the bank of tanks with the corals and then the fish, and then there was the picture of the TV in the corner with the kind of semicircle with the table. It looked really good. Yeah,
and he's done all different kind of rooms, themes as well, with like wallpaper up and all. It does look really nice, to be fair. So
what do you say it's called? Reef Experience?
Yeah, I think it's the Reef Experience, or
I'm sure it's in Yorkshire, isn't it? I'm sure I saw it was.
Yeah,
I don't know whereabouts. I think. Yeah, there you go. This is starting the MB Reefing. I know you've asked this a couple of times, haven't you? Where would you place a candy cane? So you can place a candy cane anywhere. Having experience
anywhere, yeah.
I find some of the previous tank, the massive colony I had, was probably about 4 or 5 inches from the surface, and it was fine. I would start off at the beginning, but I think you can keep them anywhere. I find that flow wise, they're okay with high flow, low flow. They prefer a little bit of dirtier water, and they just plump up nicely. But so to answer the question, I would say anywhere, but in wherever you've got space, really.
Yeah, I agree. It'll grow anywhere.
Another one. How long is your baster?
Who's got the longest baster?
Well, it won't be more, will it?
Well, no. I tell you what, I've been using a toothbrush to clean the rocks. I'm using that instead of a baster. Oh, I tell you what, Jay, you've got competition there. Look at.
That's what you call basters. Look at those bad boys, eh?
Ross, I'm not even going to get mine out now. It's just like this. I'm not even.
Are you embarrassed now, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, I've got a chubby one, and then I've got a skinny one as well. You see, so it just depends what one I use.
Mate, I've seen yours. I'm going in the urinals now. I'm not even getting out.
Oh man.
Oh dear. Thank you, Ian, for asking that question.
Ross.
That's just a wee one, Jay.
The wee one.
That's like a baster, only smaller.
Tiny, isn't it, that?
Aye.
Tiny baster.
That's cute, mate. That's cute.
Steve's got 10 basters.
He changes it every year.
Case number 9 lets him down.
No, I've got a thin one like Ross. Thin long one there like Ross. That's what I've got.
I want that glass one that you've got there, Ross, in your left hand. I want that one.
You need a thin, long one. Well, this is a relatively chubby one, but
yeah.
Aye.
Well, the thin, long one's good.
You get a bit of pressure from that, Steve, when you're actually blasting things.
Yeah, you do. You do, mate. You do, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So, yeah.
And Paul, are you still basterless, or
other than the one I use once a year on the turkey on Christmas Eve? Other than that,
you're missing out, Paul. You need to get in on the baster action.
I'm resisting. I'm sticking to my toothbrush.
How can you do the hobby without a baster?
Get a baster.
I'm not convinced. I think peer pressure. I'm going to have to, aren't I?
It'll change your life, Paul.
It'll change my life.
I doubt that there's anybody else in the hobby apart from you with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So in the comments, who does not have a baster for their tank? Who does not? We'll come back to that.
Chris Allen has asked where I got it from. They're both from Amazon, mate. So the actual, let me actually see if I can go all out on this.
He could feed next door's tank with that last one.
No, it gets better. I'll go all out. Look.
Oh my god!
Like that.
Is that so you can reach the guttering up on the? Is that so you can reach the guttering on the 3rd floor or something? What's going on here?
It's what it is, mate. It's just that's what they are. They're just a thin one, small one, and a big one.
He uses it on the Pico.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah, something like that.
Right, back onto candy canes. So Hayley's talking about bottom to middle. Back shift reefer, water box, running off reef factory, and the white stuff. The white stuff, I'm assuming, is that calc?
Yeah. I hope so.
Just in case there's any.
Your channel's definitely getting shut down here, Paul.
Oh yeah, there's not going to be any monetization on this week.
You apologise for the interruption in this service.
It always goes that way when we're on Paul's channel, isn't it?
That little girl comes on with that doll. You remember that on Channel 4 or whatever on TV? That'll come on there.
Do you know what? I was wondering where he was going. The girl comes on with a doll. I'm thinking, Jay, don't
you
go
remember
there.
that really weird image that used to be on TV when the TV...
It went blur. Yeah.
It was like the colour card with the round circle and someone in the middle.
Colour card, and it had like a girl. Was it a doll or something? I don't remember, but...
Yeah.
It's something.
It's weird, wasn't
it? Yeah.
I think it basically said,
going back some years there, Jay.
Said get to bed because there's no telly on. I remember that.
Oh dear. There we go about Jay off the screen. Again. Right, let's I think, Jay, that may be a good advice here. Stick to Yorkshire tea.
Yeah, I think so. This is why I don't drink. I'm only drinking because it was Steve's 1,000th anniversary, so every time there's 1,000 milestone, I'll have a drink, but that's it.
Appreciate you.
Minimize it.
Yeah, there we go.
There it is.
That is a bit spooky, isn't it? Well, it's probably from it used to be in black and white, which would be in the 60s. In the 70s, well, you know, you've got all kind of things in the 70s. It looks a bit weird.
Screen now. Put it full screen. Sorry, guys.
That'll scare the kids not to watch TV, wouldn't it? Look at that. That's ridiculous.
Get to bed, kids.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, though, isn't it?
It's very weird. I'm still scarred because I was quite young when that used to come on.
Who thought that would be a good picture to put in the middle of it? Of all the pictures you could have put in the middle, who thought that was suitable?
I know, yeah.
What was this? This is like the 80s, early 90s?
It would have been started off in the when it's black and white. They would have those kind of cards, and then it would have been through the 70s and the 80s, probably the 80s as well. I'm not sure.
It was in the 80s because I remember seeing it. I was
Right. Here we go. My hermits are going in the sump.
Good idea.
Black Pearl Reef around Takashi. Yeah, I know he's a legend in freshwater. And then Hayley, crabs are, they kill your snails.
It's horrible. If I see it, I try and separate them, but it's just horrible to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I must admit, I've never put hermit crabs in the tank because of that very reason.
I wouldn't
with
do it
snails.
Yeah. That's a good
I think the hermit crabs are kind of misunderstood that way. They can be rehabilitated.
We
know
this.
Here we go.
Right. This is a person out of all of us who actually imprisoned a crab. So don't be coming here with your crab
exactly.
right things or whatever it is.
No. That's why I'm saying they can be rehabilitated. Don't jump on the discrimination against hermit crabs. Well, that's a different story, mate.
Hermit crabs in 3 words. That last bit of that sentence, perfect.
Oh, right. Okay. I mean, a couple more comments. Learning the real meaning of fish palace and love to eat. No, I think we get the wrong people if we call it love to eat. I'll have all kinds of people there. We're not going there with that one, Ian. You can see where Ian goes to, can't you? Okay, Steve, you must spend loads of money each week on something for your tank, right? Do you make the money back via fragging? Your obsession for reefing will make you perfect to have a frag tank as a side hustle.
No, I don't make any money fragging. No, no, simple. No, I don't. I basically, and to be honest, I don't really buy anything for my tank no more. In all fairness, I buy something. No, I buy something, or I buy something.
New pumps.
No, I buy something if I need.
The first sign of addiction. The first sign of addiction is denial. So I think that's what we're just diagnosing here.
Yeah, we witnessed it.
So if you put aside the Versa, the Radian 6.
No, yeah.
Hold on a minute. Can I just say something here about this?
You
Yeah.
can.
Let me just
10 words.
Let me, yeah, 10 words. Yeah. Let me just. Unless it is absolutely necessary, it's going to be the beneficial of my tank. Then I'll buy something. But I won't go out and buy something if I don't need it. So like the Versa, yeah, I need that because it's dosing calquas on it. Yeah. Lighting's different. Like I had old lighting, old technology. Now I've got the new technology. So all of these things, this is the reason why.
Reef addict, that's in 2 words.
But like as for buying something every week, no, I don't buy anything. And like you said, I haven't got I'm trying to come off the thing of getting the frag rack away. I don't want the frag rack in my tank. I hate them. You know what I mean? Now I did like him at first when I was fragging it and the tank wasn't as full. You know what I mean? Yeah. But now the tank's filling out, I'm beginning to hate it. You know what I mean? So I don't really like frag racks in them because it just spoils the aesthetics, the look of it. You know what I mean?
So frag racks have their place, so they're good for acclimation. They're good for getting frags settled until you decide where you want to.
I agree.
But long term, they're probably not the best thing.
No.
I think they take away from the rest of the reef, don't they? So the ones that kind of illuminate and all that, I'm not sure about those because you just focus on them and not on the rest of the team. But then some people love them. Yeah,
like Ross said, perfect. You know, like say for instance, you buy a couple of new frags or something, yeah. But 3 or 4 new frags, you get them home. You don't want to stick them in the rock where where you're potentially putting them. You're going to put them on the frag rack, get them acclimated to the light, to your your tank and stuff. Then perfect. But once you've stuck those frags wherever you're putting them, then you should take the frag rack out. That's what I should do. You know what I mean? But I mean, something always comes up. You know what I mean? And stuff like like I've got a couple in my tank now. But hopefully they'll be gone, and then I can take it out. So but no.
Yeah. So would you do sell frags from time to time, don't you? Because I know you've got rid of the some of your larger pieces like the clams.
I do sell. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I was. I wanted to clear the front of the tank, like I said. So I've got a few things got rid of, like the clam, say for instance. You know what I mean? I've got a couple of other things gone. And then I've got that big, I've got a great big fungi plate. It must be like 4 inch by 4 inch. That's just at the back, mate. It's just wedged at the back, you know what I mean? And I'm like, it's a shame because it's a beautiful plate, you know what I mean? But
fungi is a lovely colour.
People don't want it.
Yeah.
Lovely
you know what I mean?
You might as well just sell it, Steve, just to free up a bit of space.
People don't want them. That's it. You know what I mean? I put it out. Listen, I put out when I'm selling things. I mean, I'm never going to be a millionaire, that's for sure. You know what I mean? Because I just sell them for peanuts. You know what I mean? £5 a frag here, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? I'm not in this hobby to make money. I wasn't in it to make money. I was in it to see if I could keep a reef. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as you get into it more, and then your tank, like you said, needs fragging, needs trimming. It makes me sad when I throw them. You know, when I throw them in the bin, because it's a living thing, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I've got nowhere else to put it. You know what I mean? So what can I do? Yeah, I mean, yeah. And I'm buying a frag rack at this moment in time. You know, sorry, not a frag rack, a flag tank and all that. It's a bit expensive for the time being. You know what I mean? I've got to work out my money, but eventually maybe I might do that, but not yet.
No, I know what you mean. Right, I'm just going to whiz through some comments. So I think it comes back to the oyster eggs, AAC, H2O. Harron's Reef picked up some from AAC today. Made food from crystal shrimps when I did fresh water. Jay, are you going to share?
What am I sharing?
I think they're finished now, are they not?
Oh, it's a tough question there. What's better, AAC or signature frags?
Oh,
I think
you've got to stay low. You've got to stay low.
Very different. For me, I haven't seen an LFS that's better than AAC.
It's good.
So signature frags is good. Don't get me wrong, but I mean I've been using AAC since pretty much started out.
It's awesome. AAC is awesome. I'd say it's the best all round.
Yeah, absolutely, and it gets better and better just with the stock they carry, the calls they get, and the advice that you get from there as well.
You're very lucky to live near it.
Absolutely, yeah. Right, okay. I'm just going down. So I have the TMC coral feeder. Yeah, I've seen those. They look pretty good. And a toothbrush. You're a bit greedy there, Hayley.
No, she just knows what she's doing.
So I have a question. Can you trust the silicone? Yes. So this may be relating to the tank I've got in the shed. So I'd probably fill it up and test it for a period of time in the shed before I put it in the house. So I don't know is the answer.
I thought it was, you know what? I'm sorry, but I thought I was tripping then for a moment. I thought I was like half cut myself. I seen your curtain moving around.
Oh, that's the dog.
He was blowing it. I'm like, is your curtain moving around there? There's a dog there, yeah. I was like, what the hell? That's weird.
We've got other people visiting.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so we're nearly up to date. There was a couple of questions back up here that I think someone had asked a couple of times. So I'm just going to find it. And it was towards you, Steve. There was a video about ABC Reagent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the video? I can't find the comment. I think it was John or Ian who answered it. I can't remember.
Yeah. I did watch it. Yeah, he sent me the link. I did watch it, and it was basically like talking about like, well, I'm not going to throw anything under the bus or anything like that, but like the price of, like reagents, what companies sell it to us and stuff. Whereas you can get other gear, you can get other stuff, which obviously is exactly the same stuff, which works the same. You know what I mean? So they basically like, it was how can I put it? It was eye-opening. It was eye-opening, but yeah, I did see it, John. So yeah, I appreciate it.
So what was it about? Was it about someone making different reagents that would undercut the brands and still it would work just as well?
It was on Reef. It was on Reef Dot, wasn't it? It was on the Reef Dot. The Reef.
Was that the live stream last Sunday? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like talking about like the reagent, like all the reagents and stuff, and what goes into them, and the price of like what companies sell them at and stuff, and just like you said, like that calcium hydroxide, say for instance, what I bought that great big tub, for what £19.50, £19.50 for that for what is it 20? Is it 25 kilo? No, sorry, 5 kilo, for £19, Whereas there's certain brands, which sell 500 grams, 500 grams for 16 quid.
Wow.
And it's the same stuff. It's calcium hydroxide. It's exactly the same stuff. So you imagine you could get quite a few bottles of 250 grams and 500 grams, and even liters. You know what I mean? 1 liters, You could get 5 1 liters. So how much money are they making on it? When I bought that for 5 kilo for 19 quid. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show, like, we as reefers think companies should bring prices down, especially for reagents and powders and stuff like that, because it's just ridiculous. There's no real reason for them to charge that much for what we put in our tank. You know what I mean? They shouldn't charge that. It's just they're just overcharging people, and that's why when people go out of the hobby, they've only got themselves to blame, because they just everything that they put on, the prices that they put on things is just insane, when there's no real need, like I said, for them to put the prices on it. You know what I mean? Logistics, even packaging and all that doesn't cost that much. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. It's a talking subject, and it's a sore point, I think, for a few people.
We talk about it quite a bit, and I don't think it's the LFS, because LFS usually make about
no, it's not the LFS.
They make about a 30% markup on dry goods, which for a shop, 30% is not a lot.
No.
So it's not that. I mean, obviously, you put a margin on top, but it's not there where we're getting fleeced. I would say.
I'm not talking. No, listen. I'm not talking about the LFSs. I'm not talking about them. What That's all about them. Yeah. I'm talking about the main companies that make it, that manufacture the stuff. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's no reason for them to sell, to sell it for that price. It's impossible. You know what I mean? No, but it's true though. It is to just rip you off, and that's the bottom line of it, mate. You know what I mean? They shouldn't do it. It's wrong. You know what I mean? In all senses, it's wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah. But listen. As long as we keep buying it, they'll keep selling it at that price, and that's the problem. You know what I mean? That we have.
Fair point.
Well said, Steve.
That is
it's true, mate.
Fair point. Just going up to another. So this one's a hard one. What are we talking about today?
I'll tell you what,
we've covered a little bit on reefing. Yeah. And we've done the houses on, I don't know what, all kinds of things, haven't we?
Let me talk about this guy. Have you subscribed to this guy? Check him out. If you don't already subscribe, he's really funny. You know what? And he's really funny. But you know what? He's just mad as a hat. He buys. You think I buy a lot of gear? This guy, he buys He buys things. He's just bought. He's updated his last video, and I watched it. I watched it today actually at work, and he's doing calc stuff, but he has a calc stirrer. But he was talking about, like, he's going to be going on to calcium reactors and stuff. I mean, he's got a big tank. He's got a few, but he's got a big tank. So he's going to go switch to calcium reactors and all. And he was saying, like, he couldn't refuse buying it. You know what I mean? Because it was $100. And I'm like, $100 for the calcium reactor with all the gear. You know what I mean? He's crazy. So he's going to be running it, a calcium reactor on his. But he's doing dosing calquas, so he loves it. So, I mean, I think if you got a big tank, we spoke about it, didn't we? Well, you mentioned it, didn't you? Could have been run on a small tank, and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, if you got a stock tank, and I think if you can run it, I mean, I know it's a cliche, but I should have done it a while ago. To be fair, now that I think, I was just a bit panicky and a bit like, you're a bit wary about doing something new to your tank.
When you got a mature tank and you got a lot to lose, then you're thinking, well, just take it to the status quo. I mean, I was looking at the calc stirrers, and the Deltec one is £450.
I know,
for the stirrer, where you've got a container and you've got that DIY piece of acrylic, haven't you? Which then goes into the obviously pulls into the Versa and then goes through and into the tank.
Yeah,
and
all the calc stirrer is. Yeah, it's basically, if you put a motor with a spindle on it, and you basically say for instance, you put 2 or 3 big scoops of powder into that drum or whatever, into that container, all the calc stirrer does is turn. It just turns it, so it gets it going again, gets it into the water, makes it saturated, and then it cuts off. It doesn't run continuously, so you might do it every hour. Say, set it on a timer and run every hour. Stir it for a minute, let it get stirred up, and then the water gets pulled into the tank. You know what I mean? You don't want the slurry going in, just the water gets in it. And that's all the calc stirrer is. All I do is I get my 25-litre drum, give it a good shake, give back big bash, put it in, and that's it. I don't do anything, mate. That's it.
That's Steve's calc stirrer.
Every 14 days. Yeah, shake it up like that, mate. Stick it there, put the tubing in, and that's it. It works. So listen, none of this nonsense of £400, £500 business. Get a 25 drum for £5, piece of acrylic rod for what, £2, and you've got it all made for £7. That's all you need. You don't need anything like that. It's nonsense. Another thing of ripping it off. Just like we talked about, you know what I mean? You just don't need it.
That is a lot of money, isn't it? For basically
for a motor.
Yeah, a cylinder.
It's a motor.
And a motor.
It's a cylinder.
Yeah.
I reckon if you if you searched it, I reckon you could find those motors, you know, motors that you can stick on the top.
Yeah.
And you could do it. I reckon you could do it yourself. I've never seen anybody, but I reckon you could. I reckon you could make one yourself, you know, if you had the resource.
I think Ross would be ideal
with a
to
motor.
make one of those.
Yeah, I think Ross would be, yeah.
Of making cars and other stuff like that. That's a walk in the park, Ross.
I think you would.
It should be easy to do, to be fair.
Yeah, just the stir of it, just turns the spindle, turns it around every hour or something, and perfect. That's all you need.
Or you could use Jay. He's a stirrer.
Yeah. Stick Friday night between 8 and 10. That's all I do. Stir the pot.
And we got this one from John. Has anyone used C-Lab tablets? Never heard of them, John.
No, I don't know what that is.
So John, what are they? We've only got a few minutes left in the next 5 minutes. You want to put in there, what are they? But never.
We've got loads
to Paul, to go back to the comment that was made about what we talked about tonight. I don't know if everybody knows this, but can you remember go back maybe 6 months, maybe, or a year ago or more? Remember before we come on a live stream, we all had blind panic as to what we're going to talk about. We wrote out scripts of points we were going to cover, all that kind of stuff. And it was like, I've nothing to talk about tonight. What we're going to talk about? And Paul will be like, I'll send you over some stuff that we can discuss. Now, not one of us does that. It's like, nah, we'll just wing it. We'll just sit and talk. And that's why we end up talking about garage doors and water bottles and just absolute nonsense. But
it's true, yeah.
It works.
Don't forget, we do actually talk about reef tanks for a small proportion of it.
Yeah, there's a small part, yeah. But yeah, cash in mind that. I mean, I remember myself, I used to get so stressed out thinking, I have nothing to talk about, no topics tonight, and frantically writing stuff down and then messaging you guys, is anything for me to talk about tonight? And now it just changes and it goes.
I mean, you make it sound like anybody could do this job, Ross. You know, it's anybody could.
Well, maybe not anybody, but that's a
yeah, I think you could.
Okay, I lied. Yeah.
I think doing it on your own is really, really hard because I've obviously done it once.
Yeah.
But when you've got, and it's harder with two. I think the four of us, it's really good. I think it's the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
But actually, on your own, it is hard work thinking about what you got to do. I was lucky that obviously I fragged that chalice, but I mean, Reef Dog and other people you see they do it on their own. I mean, fair play because that's not
it's
not easy,
difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, here we go. We got here about Reef to Reef DIY calc stirrer. Oh, I'll look that because I must admit I'm and ahhing about on the smaller tank in the garage because I've got the room about putting a doing calc there.
I've got the room. Yeah, it was in the picture earlier. Got plenty of room.
He's moved the Bentley out so he can get the calc stirrer in.
No, the Bentley doesn't fit. It's too narrow. I tried.
Oh, okay.
To remind you of your garage, Paul. Want me to remind you of your garage?
No, I think I tell you what. When you see the video, I'm going to get some thumbs down. Nearly as many thumbs down as I got on the floating aquascape. That still holds a record for thumbs down. That particular video. And the tank's still going.
For that.
And the tank's still going. 2 years old. That tank.
There you go, Paul. Howard summed it up there well.
we even share patterns.
That is very true.
That is
very true.
That is brilliant. Right, what have we got there? Yeah, the dogs after being behind the curtain wants to go out, but I think Jill's taking care of that. But there we go. Right, what have we got there? We've got. Sorry, Jay, but it looks like you've got jaundice.
Jaundice. I do look a bit yellow.
Yeah. Went Pan
Antonio.
Oh, it's even worse.
Gee, God, you look like you're on the sunbed there. Don't do that one. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Pearl Reef said Steve, but he meant Jay.
Sod it. We've only got 7 minutes, so I'll leave it at that.
7 minutes?
Yeah, that looks like
it. It's 2 minutes. Where'd you get 7 from?
Oh, no. Because
you did that 5 minutes while you were.
I'm off at 10.
I'm off. You was late.
Oh dear. Right, so we've got last minute. So next week, I think we're back with you, Jay, aren't we?
I think we are. Yeah, I think unusually, yeah, because these guys are like, I don't know, busy.
Jay's holding the fort. I'm on a late shift, unfortunately.
That was teed up nicely, Paul, because we talked about how anybody can do this, and then Jay's like, "Well, I'll host next week. It's fine." What's the worst that could happen?
The worst that could happen.
Well, the worst that could happen is there's me and Jay.
The following week, that's probably the worst thing.
Yeah, you'll be fine. We're rolling, and I've got a touch of the steam, and I drop out for about 10-15 minutes. And Jay's got to go hand solo.
I can't multitask. That's my problem.
Make sure your Wi-Fi is perfect, Paul, next week.
Do you know what? I would like a heated floor. Definitely.
Yeah.
What, in the house, I assume?
Yeah. No. The garage is toasty. That's fine. You know, when the snow was on the ground, we all moved into the garage because it was nice and warm.
Hit the thumbs up, guys. Yeah, Paul's done a good job.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.
As always.
It's been a blast. And thank you all for joining and bearing with us, even though we talked for Reefing probably out of 1 hour and 55 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. So thank you very much. We're back with Jay next week. So have a good Reefing weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
Have a good one, guys.
Cheers, guys.